Hannah Anderson is speaking out. That teenager has now spoken publicly about her abduction by that family friend, James DiMaggio. This happened on the Today Show this morning. She was explaining phone calls and letters, all of those strange and curious communications between those two leading up to the abduction and the murders, and in fact that were listed by police in those warrants. And she gave an emotional description of her little brother, Ethan. She also spoke about her mother. And she talked about all of the public reaction, much of it negative, to her abduction. Plus, she explained the reasons for posting pictures and talking online. Have a listen.
The phone calls weren't phone calls, they were text, because he was picking me up from cheer camp and he didn't know the address or where I was, so I had to tell him the address and tell him that I was going to be in the gym and not in front of the school, just so he knew where to come get me. And the letters were from like a year ago when me and my mom weren't getting along very well. Me and him would talk about how to deal with it, and I'd tell him how I felt about it, and he'd help me through it. They weren't anything bad, they were just to help me through tough times. He had a really big heart, and she was strong-hearted and very tough. She knew how to handle things. You are who you are, and you shouldn't let people change that, and you have your own opinion on yourself, and other people's opinion shouldn't matter. I connect to them through Facebook, and Instagram it just helps me grieve, like post pictures and to show how I'm feeling.
A lot of people have been talking about this story. I want to bring in forensic psychologist Dr. J. Buzz von Orensteiner again. Okay, doctor, so first of all, I need to ask you, is it fair for so many people out there who have online and elsewhere been criticizing this 16-year-old, let's not forget she's a teenager, criticizing her because of oddities and inconsistencies and maybe online behavior? Is it fair reaction for those people to have? No, it's not fair. She's a 16-year-old girl. She's been in an emotional crisis. She's grieving. Let her make some choices and let her react in a way that can allow her to gain some emotional control. She's 16 years old, you know. I might act differently as an adult. She doesn't have learned experience. Cut her some slack. So the first thing I thought was I need to ask Dr. Buzz about Hannah and how she was this morning in this interview. But then I started to think, I think I need to ask you as well about why there are all of these critics and haters. What is the story? What is going on with these people? Well, first of all, with social media and in the media in general, you're not, it's going to be a 70% of people who are going to really like the person and have great empathy. There's always going to be a 30 to 25 to 10% who are going to have negative views. That's the way of the world. Are they just seizing on these inconsistencies and thinking I smell a rat? Well, it's human nature. On one level, and also, who knows what these individuals are going through themselves, that they feel they have to attack this young 16-year-old girl who's just had her mother and brother killed. I actually think she's doing a great job. She wants to stand in her truth. She wants to set the record straight. She wants people to know this wasn't a romantic involvement, that the texts that she receives were routine, and that the letters before had no romantic intent, but he was there helping her mother, helping her get along with her mother. They seem like very logical explanations for what many people, seized on as unusual. We're somewhat suspicious, many people have been, and then there's many who are very supportive of this family. The victims of this crime have not even yet been buried. Those funerals have not yet happened, and yet Hannah has been very public online, on the Today Show. Is this a healthy? I mean, you're the doctor. Yeah. Is it a healthy behavior for her? What I say is grief is highly individual. She's a 16-year-old girl. I'm a baby boomer. I look at things quite differently. Let her go where she needs to go to gain some emotional control. She's been through a horrific experience, and she is damaged by critics, and you do become hypersensitive. Allow her to grieve when it comes to the point of her funeral. So she wants to set the record straight right now so she can grieve, so she can move on. And of course, she's a 16-year-old girl groomed from social media and also in a world of reality shows. She may be more comfortable with the television and social media than we as
as adults would be.
With grown-ups, yeah.
Yes.
And you know, listen, the critics out there point to the fact that we do treat teenagers sometimes as adults in the criminal justice system, and therefore maybe that's where the skeptics come in with their you know, sleuthing. But Dr. Buzz, thank you. It's been really hard to sort of sort through this story in so many levels. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
This is CNN.